Hey everybody, it's Life and Vibe, otherwise known as Ray, and I hope anybody who was participating in the Mother Day celebration yesterday, I hope everybody had a great time. And I wanted to make sure that I said hey about that. So somebody else who wanted to make sure that he said hey about Mother's Day was our great friend Sarasota Tim. And he put out a few videos. And the one that I kind of want to highlight, and we're not going to start from the beginning, we're going to start a little bit in, is one where it was after church. And it seemed that he may have wanted to show a vulnerable side? I don't know. Maybe Tim was just feeling sorry for himself. I'm thinking it's the latter. But you let me know in the comments which one you think it is by the end of this video. And just to let everybody know, everything is in fair use, okay? Fair. Oh, that was too quick to read. Everything is within fair use, okay? I do it. It's under fair use, okay? That's what I'm sticking to. That's my story. All right. It's commentary. It's for education, entertainment purposes only. All right. And even though I am a registered nurse here in the United States, these are just my opinions. Unless it's medical. And then it might be based more on my opinionated facts. Anyway, Tim got a little bit teary-eyed. A little bit of self-pity. So we're going to take it from the point where he catches us up about his visit to church. Keep going, Tim.
Well, what are you guys doing today? Let me know in the comments what your kids did for you, what you received. And you guys can even tell me what you did for your moms or maybe for the wife. If your kids are young and you acknowledged her, what kind things did you do? The message in church today was amazing. The associate pastor's wife gave the message. And the long story short, it really kind of went along with what I talked about this morning.
I think most people probably watching my content are familiar with Sarasota Tim. But if you aren't, and you just happen to find me, welcome. Sarasota Tim has been married 3 times and has 3 different children, one from each marriage. And am I judging him? I guess so, because 3 marriages and 3 different kids, and some were close to age and with each other, and so therefore he was moving on pretty rapidly. Yeah, I think there were some decisions that were made definitely before Tim really had a chance to consider whether fatherhood was a good decision. So, but Tim's a narcissist, in my opinion.
In my morning chat, she went to London or something like that one time, and they have tea like 3 times a day. And she was over there on vacation, and it was like, okay, let's get this done. We got to get all these things done. And they're like, no, we're having tea now. And so the message, the analogy is,
what do you mean having tea? What type of tea are you talking about? Talk about high tea? What tea are you talking about? Now, there is a lot of different ways, obviously. Having grown up in the UK, I can speak with some authority about the use of the word tea. Well, obviously, there's literally the drink tea, which most English people, if they are a drinker of tea, probably have more than 3 a day. I can let you know the kettle is generally constantly on the boil. And the second that you walk into an English person's home, they will be offering you a cup of tea. Now, if you decide to refuse and be rude, that's up to you. But, and yes, you should drink it with milk. And no, you should not say no. The next tea that is often mentioned, now there's the tea that I think that Tim was thinking of, which is what they could preferably call like a high tea, the type that could be served at Harrods or Selfridges or one of these high-end, some type of Cornish tourist trap. They have those types of tea shops. That would generally be at what we call tea time, which is sometime around, 4 or 5 in the afternoon. People often refer to what Americans call dinner as tea time or tea. And when they're referring to that type of tea, they could be referring to what Americans call dinner. That what in England they call dinner time, that's what Americans call lunchtime. So I hope that made sense.
They do it 3 times a day. They literally stop what they're doing and they have tea. And when you do that, you're actually I need to go to the other side of the mall. There's not going to be any parking over here.
Well, yeah, there is a lot of stopping to to drink tea. I'm not going to lie about that. But usually you just send off one person, so not all work is stopped. But tea is constantly being made.
What, am I dreaming? If you stop and have tea and you sit down with someone, it's really nice. You get to know them if you don't know them, and you really enjoy. And so she used a tea bag and a kettle that she had, and she put the tea bag in, and she says, now, if I just take this out right away, what are we going to have? It's just going to be, cloudy water. But by letting it steep for a while, so you see where I'm going with this? So basically, the point of the story is, I will do it right here.
The analogy?
Please don't hit that curb. I didn't. Great. If you just will.
How many curbs do you hit, Tim? There's been a countdown of curb hitting. And people do wonder if you're capable and competent of driving that large truck. I cannot believe he's talking about tea. I just had a cup of tea. Sometimes if you watch my live streams, I often am accompanied by a cup of tea. I use almond milk now. It's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought, there is something to be said about, well, if you're going to have a real cup of tea in England with the, what I drink here is nothing like a real proper cup of tea at home. When you get really good, like the water with the tea bag and the milk, that tea, I'm never going to be able to taste that here in the United States. That tea does not exist here. It just doesn't. It's got to be something about that water. That limey, scaly water.
I'm sorry, but I have a cement truck and I have to park it like this. If you will just take the time 3 times a day, like they have tea over there, and sit and meditate on God and quit worrying about the hustle and bustle. And she also used the passage in the Bible in the book of John of the story where Jesus came to Martha's house and Mary was.
If you also are new to Sarah's Tim content through my reactions, Tim has suddenly found religion, it seems. Now, he has always kind of had his crushing it for Christ and has been aware that he has an subscriber base, an audience that enjoys his Christian messages, that are also people who are fellow Christians, but they haven't figured out that Tim is a Christian LARPer. He LARPs as a Christian. Live action role playing. And this whole persona that Tim is currently presenting to us is a LARPing activity. Tim does not actually follow through with true acts of Christian compassion and kindness. And I have many videos about it.
Spending time with Jesus and washing his feet and putting oil on his head or whatever she was doing. And Martha went and complained to Jesus, like basically, look, Jesus, tell Mary to help me. I'm in here doing all this work myself. And, don't you think it's rude that she's not helping me? And Jesus replied to Martha that what she is doing is the right thing and it will not be taken from her. So basically, that's the point. It's 3 times a day, multiple times a day, we are to stop and take the time out, and like it takes the proper time of making a cup of tea and sitting there and enjoying it and letting the hustle and bustle of the day, the scrolling, the things that distract you, that rob you of your attention to the things that are important in life. And in 2026,
you have to remember that this is from a gentleman who makes around 3 or 4 YouTube videos per day and watches a lot of content and spends a great amount of time talking to AI. So I just want to preface this.
This is way more different than it was in the Bible days. So it was so apropos. And it wasn't just for mothers, it was for anybody to actually realize that, You know, the most important thing is a relationship with Almighty God, who provides everything for me, even my next breath, that I don't have time for him. I've got to get a million things done. And she delivered it so beautifully. I just can't, I know it all in my head. It was a beautiful message, and using the Bible. And then she had this little tea set up out there on the table.
That's nice.
And it was nice. It was really nice. And it really hit home.
I mean, I can't be but happy that the use of a British tea was the analogy used to explain the pastor's message. It's not that formal necessarily in the UK. But I tell you, a lot of tea is drank.
Me. And I just said that this morning before I went into church, basically. I was saying kind of the same thing. That's the real irony about it, and really, you know, kind of freaky. So I got something from it. And there was a gentleman sitting in front of me in church with 4 kids, 3 girls and a boy. And I think the eldest might have been 9, 10. And the next one maybe a year younger. And the next one was like, the boy was the next. And he looked like he was a year, maybe 2 years younger. And then the littlest, smallest girl, she might have been just 1 year under the boy. But they were all like within, I would say, 6 to 10. About right. 4 years, 4 kids. And no mom. Now, I know the mom.
I mean, Tim is about to make a statement that probably reflects more on Tim's ability to be a father than other people's ability to be a father. I had a stepdad a lot of my life, so he really wasn't that hands-on stuff. You know, I don't know. Tim's probably projecting something here. But
mom is somewhere, because these girls were all wearing Sunday dresses. Their hair was done. The youngest one had this little braiding thing in her hair. And I'll tell you,
it could have been the dad. You don't know. Could have been grandma. You just have no idea, Tim. That's a lot of assumptions made that it's always a woman's place and role to churn the children out like little models at all times. Uh-oh. 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 Tim's feeling sorry for himself, guys. Hold on a second. You know, Tim's having a moment of vulnerability. I think he's just feeling sorry for himself.
Reminded me of a couple of little girls that I know. But the dad was a really good dad. He was sitting there keeping them, he kept tapping them on the head when they were, you know.
And of course, the 2 little girls, if you are not familiar with Tim's story, are the grandchildren of Miss Tammy. And Tim was awful to them the time that we saw them on a video. Tim was very upset with the thought that they could do some type of harm or damage inside one of his vehicles. And I don't know if the dad saw that video or not, but we never saw those little girls. And Tim probably wasn't around them much after that either. And I really wouldn't care for Tim to be around them too much either, because they were not his grandchildren. They were the grandchildren of Dwayne Musselman, Tammy's husband, who I'm sure their marriage was estranged because she and Tim were living together for a number of years up until 2020. So it seems interesting that Tim is crying also about the grandchildren that aren't his, considering he has his own grandchildren who he seemingly has no real relationship with his grandson. And whether his other child has grandchildren or children and he's a grandfather for them, they have no relationship. And obviously his younger son has no children at this time. So it just seems absolutely ironic that this LARPing Christian is crying about children that he is not seeing, that one are not his. And it's a family he literally tried to steal from Dwayne Musselman. And so it's absolutely ironic. He is never are you calling your daughter to wish her happy Mother's Day? I didn't hear. I know he was kind enough to take Raphael or something, but did you call your own daughter, Christina, and say, "Hey, happy Mother's Day," and wish her happy Mother's Day, or think about her at all? Send her a gift?
Kids are, they can't be still. And he would like point forward, but they were so dressed. They were so obedient. They were so beautiful. And children are a blessing.
Says the man who did not provide health insurance for his or particularly any sort of legacy, really. I mean, it's just, what are you crying about, Tim? Are you just feeling sorry for yourself because you got tough times coming ahead? You're feeling alone on Mother's Day because you're not somehow being the center of everybody's world and attention and being with some woman so that you still could somehow, laterally be getting recognition on Mother's Day for something you never did. I mean, it's just absolute pity party here for yourself, Tim. Absolute pity party. You are feeling sad because the heat's rolling in and you're having to roll around in your car, and Miss Tammy's in her nice new condo and you aren't being able to unload yourself into her life anymore and situate yourself there. And so you feel all sorts of sorry for yourself this Mothering Sunday. Absolute pity party. People call him invulnerable. What are you calling him vulnerable for? This man did nothing for his own family. I just find it absolutely ironic. Tim's just having tears for himself. That's all.
And even though it's Mother's Day, every holiday that goes by for the last several, maybe even decades, I've spent my time with people of my past, and it's just some things are just unexplainable. And when some people...
I can explain it, Tim. Tammy doesn't want you around anymore, and she's finally woke up to you being an absolute toxic individual. How about that? I'll explain it. She doesn't want you unloading yourself into her life. Maybe her children have finally said to her that she doesn't need to be your nurse as you get older, that she should enjoy her time with her family and her grandchildren and being close to them and doing what she wants with them and not having to cater to you anymore. Maybe her days of catering to you are done, Tim. And I can't blame her. I have seen so many more women, and I'm one in the same position. If you are not married and you are single, you are so much better off remaining in that position than being some nurse with a purse or a hospice wife for an individual like Sarah said to Tim, who has been married 3 times, has grown children, and seems to, has obviously a friendship with Raphael and Fred, but they seem to be all that is. He has children. Why are you not closer to your own family and helping them out? Because you want to be where you are. And that's fine. But don't be upset with other people. It's okay,
even do things.
I get it.
Say things.
Hey, it's okay, Jimbo.
To
all roll here,
erase that part of your life with others. Like, whatever. I'm not gonna go into it. But it was
June, can we? I don't know how to pause this, and you're really barking, and we're in a critical moment where Tim's crying. And I think if I stop it, I don't know if I can restart the recording. The streamer looks strange.
Great message, and I hope that,
sorry about that, guys.
That I explained that well enough that,
trying to figure it out.
That'll be something that you can do.
Oh, so, there it is.
To all the adults, but especially the little kids, they showed a little video.
Oh, goodness, Tim. Stop just, trying to recapture something that never existed in your life.
Of still pictures of mothers.
Oh, God.
Tim all these created shots where...
Tim just crying for himself. You didn't think of all the mothers you left behind? Oh, no.
The mother was kissing a baby, and then like a 6-year-old girl or a boy, with their hand on his head, and all of these, motherly type things. It was very moving.
Yeah.
And it was a great tribute to.
Yeah. To all the 3 wives you left behind and all the kids that you didn't provide for. Great. Yeah. LARPing Christian. They don't believe any of this. Just this nonsense from this guy.
Mothers this morning, and having the associate pastor's wife deliver a message. It was excellent. And this church I'm going to is through a recommendation of a subscriber of mine, and I'm so thankful, because when I started out to look for one, I went a couple of weeks and then I visited somewhere else, and I enjoyed that one too. But I came back to this one, and this one's just been phenomenal. You've
got some more subscribers coming that you'll probably get some free food from, because didn't you get some free sandwiches from the last group of guys that were at the Moose Lodge? You're going to try to get some free food from this next lot? It's pitiful, Tim. I'm going to beg for likes, comments, and subscribes down below, please.
Both with the pastor and the associate pastor, and now his wife, the music, the building, the everything, and the hour of service that I like early in the morning. Also, there's coffee and fellowship time in the front area there. It's just really nice. Bridge Church. And it's real close to the beach over there. I want to go on to the beach afterwards. But yeah. And you know what I just realized? I don't think I can park my truck here. I've got my e-bike on the back. And even though I'm going to lock it, and there's security right there driving.
Tim's talking about, like I said, all these Christian acts. And he recently stole somebody's golf clubs from a subscriber that he met out in Nevada. So this is not a particularly good person. He scrubbed the comments of somebody else who was a subscriber who Tim met about their wives' cancer, and people were wishing her all the best. And he scrubbed those comments away. So this is a Christian LARPer. Okay? He just LARPs as a Christian. He is not have anything other than his own narcissistic goals and wants and needs to be satisfied at the end of the day. Beyond that, in my opinion, that this is just a hollow thing that he's doing. One, it's content. Two, it's because he knows he's swimming in legal troubles.
Around, I don't think it would be really cool. On the other side of the mall, there are closer spots to the door. And another thing, why did I bring it? If I'm not going to ride it, why don't I just ride it instead of going to the mall and walking? I can have a breeze and just go around on my bike. That's what I brought it for. Maybe I'll go around the back over here and unload it.
I know, because Tim likes to park in commercial parking areas of, stores and supermarkets and so forth, and in order to take his bikes, because, he doesn't want to pay for parking, because he's that type of Christian. Because that's not a cool thing to do. They get really upset with the Harris Teeter down at the beach.
Near the Moats Aquarium. And ride, baby, ride. This is such a nice area here. Everybody in Lakewood Ranch must have left their homes today, went to church, bringing mom out for lunch. And
there's a lot of retirees out there. So, yeah, that could be happening.
Shopping. See, there's plenty of parking back here. It's the other side that people want to glom to. It's like that second roundabout I went to. Secret. You got to go to Secret. All this area over here, this is future.
Oh, that seems so safe. Well, you just were worried about hitting the curb.
Buildings of some kind. It really is. It was supposed to be an ice skating rink and condos and all kinds of stuff.
Really? Oh, that's not. Are they still going to build? We'll have to see if Jose from Southern Life will catch up on that.
During COVID, they cleared this and brought in dirt and all this kind of thing. And the only thing they built was Top Golf, or whatever it's called up here, right there straight ahead.
Top Golf.
And the Moat Aquarium. All this other is on hold. They got the new Dick's being built, but that's adjacent, connected to the mall. That's going to be another year before that's done. All right, let's unload. Let's get out and crush it.
Oh, no. Tim not going to crush anything, guys. He's just going to crush the souls of his subscribers. If he doesn't come out with 10 videos a day. Oh my goodness. I think a lot of Tim's audience, from what I could see from the comments, did not even get to the point where he became more vulnerable and feeling sorry for himself. I don't know if that's not a moment of vulnerability. Tim just feeling sorry for himself. I mean, I just find it absolutely ironic that somebody who literally tried to steal somebody else's family and then was caught on camera being like not particularly nice to these children in the past is like sitting there crying, because the only thing he's crying about is himself being alone on Mother's Day, and he's not out going to a lunch where he could potentially, have a couple of families together, and maybe Tim will get in for a free meal paid by some other guy, because I'm sure Tim is known to be the guy who never picks up the tab. Even with all of his YouTube success and money, he's still probably known as the man who doesn't pick up the tab. He's certainly known as the man who needs to come with toilet paper to Teddy and Jolene's place. Oh my gosh. All right, I felt salty. This got long. If you did get this far in the video, though, make sure to leave for me a salt shaker, because I was being particularly salty in this reaction today, guys. And you could also leave me a dog if you want for Junebug barking. I finally took a moment and saw that was the which one was the pause button, because the last thing I needed to do was suddenly in the recording. So I apologize, guys. We're like Tim, we don't edit around here. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Life and Vibe, thanks so much. My queen, my Sarasota Tim expert.